Watching your favorite driver get screwed over by a rule that was probably unwritten, or maybe your least favorite driver get away with a rule that was unwritten. Today, we're going to look at all those and the best moments of NASCAR drivers breaking unwritten rules. If you haven't already subscribed, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. With the new next-gen car, NASCAR added a rule that most teams and fans did not know about. It was you cannot add tape to your main front grille opening. In the past, the best way to add an easy advantage on a pit stop was add a piece of tape on the grille, which would help get better downforce. NASCAR eliminated that where you're not allowed to do it starting in the 2022 season. Well, Kyle Busch was the first one to find out. Kyle Busch was black flagged and had to bring his car back down to pit road after his team put a piece of tape on the car during a pit stop. Busch's race was basically over after going a lap down after this because it was in the closing laps of the race.
It's where NASCAR made the unprecedented and historic decision to add a 13th driver to the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Nearly a week after the initial field for the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup was set, NASCAR Chairman and CEO Brian France added another twist. He says after a full review of all the events of Saturday's race in Richmond, it revealed a multiple set of circumstances that gave Jeff Gordon an unfair disadvantage. The result? Creating a 13th chase spot for Gordon.
Still to this day, I don't think this was even a rule. But Michael Waltrip Racing was caught cheating during the 2013 regular season finale, ultimately helping one of their drivers get into the chase. Jeff Gordon was the odd man out and was essentially added into the chase by NASCAR. NASCAR made an exception to add a 13th driver to the 12-driver chase that year. Jeff Gordon was added to the chase in 2013 and had a shot at a championship even though he didn't even make the chase on points. During the hectic and chaotic finish in the 2022 Indianapolis road course race, Ross Chastain essentially drove off the track on purpose to avoid what could have been a wreck, ultimately gaining him positions and taking the lead. The rule was if you missed the corner, you had to take this access road, which he did, but it gave him an advantage. So he was ultimately black flagged and did not get to maintain his finishing position. It was a wild finish, though.
See that right rear of that forward glass? Is it bowed down?
Yep, kind of where the jack, between the orange jack screw and the black lining, it's bowed from the right side of the jack screw over.
Yeah, right by the K. When he's up to speed, I think pushes down about, 2 inches, 3 inches.
The 2018 season saw two penalties from Kevin Harvick that were somewhat unwritten rules. The first one came in Las Vegas. Apparently on Reddit, somebody found and posted a picture of the rear window of Kevin Harvick's car. The rear window was warped in, creating an extra aerodynamic advantage for Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick went on to win the Las Vegas race, and on Tuesday of that following week, NASCAR put the hammer down on the Ford team, stripping them of the race win and the points they collected that day. Months later, Kevin Harvick went on to win the 2018 Texas playoff race. He ended up also failing post-race inspection with an illegal spoiler modification. Apparently, his team brought an illegal spoiler and put on the car that looked almost identical to what NASCAR teams are mandated. Kevin Harvick's playoff win was stripped also, and his advancement to the final round was also stripped away from him. The 2010 Texas Fall Race. Kyle Busch has been caught speeding on pit road while trying to beat the pace car off, therefore was penalized by NASCAR for one lap. On ESPN, in-car cameras showed Kyle Busch displaying the middle finger and flipping off a NASCAR official for several seconds. He screamed on his team radio, and crew chief Dave Rogers yelled back, attempting to calm Busch down. After NASCAR saw his unsportsmanlike conduct gesture to one of the officials, they slapped Busch with a 2-lap penalty.
Looks like Kyle might get back out. He might stay on the lead lap here.
He's out in front of the pace car, so it looks like Kyle will stay on the lead lap.
I think they want us to give him a lap back, Dave.
At 10-4, they're going to hold you one lap. They said we sped to keep from going a lap down.
Bullshit! I went to my max of my light on the exit. And okay, speed, maybe it was a mile an hour over, but it wasn't like it was 15 miles an hour over like it was fucking obvious.
They always get the last word, bud. We'll just give them their lap. We'll get the lucky down.
Fuck you guys.
Well, I guess that's a little hand signal given the NASCAR official.
Yeah, we will apologize for Kyle. Remember the little gesture that we had to apologize for? It's going to cost him 2 more laps. NASCAR is going to pull him in.
That's freedom of speech. They're going against the constitutional rights of everybody. Kyle, stop, please. And we all work too hard for this. You're costing us. Bring it to pit road. Park it for 2 laps.
As I said earlier in this video, this new next generation car, NASCAR has tried to limit the amount of modifications the teams can do to each race car. The 2022 Pocono race saw both Joe Gibbs Racing drivers, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, disqualified after they had a piece of tape underneath the wrap of their car, which was adding an advantage. They both finished first and second place. Denny Hamlin's win was stripped away along with his playoff points, and so was Kyle Busch's second place finish was also taken away. Chase Elliott came home with the victory that day after finishing third and not leading a single lap. I guess that's what happens when you don't cheat.
I think he's done.
I tell you what,
it won't turn no more. I'm just going to walk off.
Well, I don't like that at all. He could have done a better job of getting that out of the way. Now it's in the way of the 24. Just got out and walked off. I know the frustration and I get it, but you got to do a little better job than that.
The other controversy, the one that boiled over Sunday, was with Jimmie Johnson's qualifying run. The car was deemed by NASCAR to have an unapproved aerodynamic device, and Chad Knaus has been given at least a vacation through the Daytona 500. He won't be anywhere on the Speedway grounds. Jimmie Johnson, the driver, just held a press conference to address the issue. Dave Burns was there.
And Mike, of course, it sounds like he wanted to sort of deflect a little of the criticism early on, or at least tell people where he stood. So he started with a little bit of an opening comment where he used the word damaging in terms of how this affects the Lowe's team. But he also talked about the fact that he was not aware that there was anything with going on with that particular mechanical change to the car. He says he encourages his crew chief and team to continue working within the gray areas to try to gain a competitive advantage. He's just the driver. But he did say that his role as cheerleader on this team was going to change a little bit because Chad was one of the biggest cheerleaders on this team. He's been ejected for Speed Weeks. He will not be here on Sunday for the 500. So Jimmie needs to become a little bit more of that.
If you're just joining us here on Speed today, I want to update you with the biggest story coming out of the garage area today. The number 24 driven by Jeff Gordon and the number 48 of Jimmie Johnson. Both cars have been parked for today, not allowed to practice and not allowed to qualify because of a problem in technical inspection this morning. For more, let's go back to Bob Dillner.
And that problem had to do with what NASCAR deemed body modifications outside the NASCAR parameters met in the rule book. And both of these cars, these guys working in the garage area right now, they were allowed to stay here today, even though the 48 and the 24 were not allowed to practice nor qualify here. But the issue had to do with the fender area. In fact, if you look at the left front fender of Jimmie Johnson's car, right around where it says Goodyear, that area was puffed up a little bit. So NASCAR made them cut that area out, put a new piece of sheet metal in, and then fiberglass it back and put the decals back over.